21 days you do a habit, 90 days you do it becomes a lifestyle.
I've never seen any habit form in 21 days. Lifestyle to chodo, meaning that's a different beast altogether.
Can you tell me how a habit is formed?
Any conscious or subconscious action or thought repeated at a set frequency.
Let's take, I am your client and you're breaking down my life.
Do you realize that the relationship with your wife is like this because of these habits that you set in place? You can only change 3 habits at a time. So focus only on 3 habits that you can change. Changing 7 things about your life means you are not you anymore.
Labeling good and bad habits, is it okay or not?
There's no such thing as a good or bad habit. There is only a habit. If you got into smoking because this was the only way you could spend time with your boss and hence improve your career, at that point of time it was a necessary habit.
Let's talk about some problem which everyone is talking about today, procrastination. You know what you have to do. For some reason, you're not able to do, right? Can you break it down?
Procrastination is taking over like by storm. We procrastinate for 3 reasons.
So all the fad diets, crash diets will crash because of this reason.
As soon as you say, I am on a diet, within that, the word on means that you will be off it soon.
Hustle culture, right? People glorify it.
Hustle culture is fantastic if you are
At Success Gyan, I work with a lot of coaches, okay? But first time, I have somebody called a habit coach. Can you tell me who's an habit coach and what do you do?
I know people are so confused, right? They've heard of life coaches, fitness coaches. What is a habit coach? So I distilled it down to one line. As a habit coach, I help you get rid of your frustrations in life. Because all of us are frustrated by something or the other. And these frustrations mount because of the habits that we've unconsciously picked up through our life.
Correct.
Right? You know this better than anyone. Most of our life is unconscious and it's been picked up by what our parents taught us, what was taught to us in school, and now what is taught to us by the thing in our pocket, which we keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and it's constantly subconsciously creating ideas in our minds and belief systems. These belief systems are what we need to break. These actions that it has taught us are what we need to break, and that's what a habit coach does. It shows you the unconscious systems that are creating this frustration in our lives right now, and how do we move to something far better.
Ashdin, that's the language we talk in Success Gyan. I am so happy, so excited for this conversation. My intention with this podcast is break it down, show the science, and actually give a framework for people what needs to be done and how they can actually rewire stuff in life. So that's my intention.
Amazing.
Now let's go to the science of a habit. Can you tell me how a habit is formed?
Lovely. So let's first define a habit. And this is the habit coach version of a definition. This is not a dictionary definition. So this is how I've defined it in my book. Any conscious or subconscious action or thought repeated at a set frequency. Normally we think of habits only as subconscious. I don't know how I drove to office, but I drove to office. I don't know how I tie my shoelaces, but I tie my shoelaces. But not all habits are subconscious. You can't subconsciously go to a gym because then you'll drop the weights on your head.
Correct.
Which we don't want to happen. Right? So not all habits are subconscious. The second is that we normally think of habits only as actions. Brushing teeth is a habit. Drinking coffee is a habit. But we don't realize that most of our habits are our thought habits. So the things that we are thinking about constantly, you wake up and you say life sucks means your life is going to suck eventually. Every day you wake up saying life sucks, life sucks. Every day you wake up saying I don't have enough money, I don't have enough money. Or rich people are like this. You know, all these behaviors, all these thought patterns are our habits. And many of these thoughts are what are holding us back. Now, if you have an action or a thought that takes place only once in a while, that's not a habit. Right? Once a month, not a habit. It has to happen at a set frequency, repeated over and over and over again. And this is why programming from our parents, school and social media is so powerful, because just think about the number of times you repeat it over and over and over again. So as soon as we define habits as this, then we suddenly realize and we look at our life and say, oh my God, everything that I'm doing is a habit.
We are creatures of a habit. Yeah.
Right? So now you realize that your life is only a building block of the habits that you've created. Now you look at this life and decide that I wanted to build this beautiful skyscraper, but I built it out of thermocol. I may not built it out of bricks and sand, which is going to be strong and going to be tall. So how do I now start replacing this thermocol with pure sand, with pure bricks? Step one is to become conscious about these habits that we've had. And my main job is to hold a mirror to people, saying, do you realize that the relationship with your wife is like this because of these habits that you've set in place? And then as soon as that aha moment happens, then people say, that desire for change comes in. Till then, the fear of change is far more outweighing that desire for change. So once a desire for change comes in, then you say, okay, now you need to know what is the next step. Unfortunately, most of us move to this word called motivation. We see something on social media and we are motivated for it. So we're like, chalo, I have to do it.
Can we really put it loud? Why we don't believe in motivation? Can you tell me
You
why
also don't believe in motivation?
I don't believe in motivation because it doesn't work.
Doesn't
You tell your point, then I'll tell my point of view.
So I wanted to, in fact, in my book, write one chapter called Motivation Sucks. And then my editor says, no, you can't use sucks. You have to use something. So motivation is useless. So unfortunately, motivation is like a matchstick. It burns very brightly for a short period of time, which is why you make large decisions, but you cannot follow through on them. You need something that burns at a slower pace. Also, motivation is fueled by inspiration. You see something and you get motivated. That means it's still an external force that is creating this on you. So hence, for habit change, we focus on intention setting. And how do we create an intention? Why is this so important that it's going to change your life? Why is it so important that it's going to change the life of your family, your children, etc.? If you can bring it down to that intention setting, you know that you're not going to give up on this habit. Because the number one part of understanding habits is that you will be on a habit and you'll be off a habit. Right? Habits do fail. Habits do break. The idea is to get back onto the wagon as fast as possible. You go on a holiday and you come back, habits change because on that holiday you didn't have that, that working station or whatever that was there. So you need to realize that intention is what's going to hold you back and keep you true to that habit whenever you want to form it.
So Ashdin, your framework is first awareness, right? First you need to know awareness. Then you say a desire to change.
Correct.
You plug in intention also there. And just getting motivated won't work like what we've been discussing about because that's external. You suddenly wake up and you say, I want to do this. It won't work, right? So you need to have a framework, intention, systems, right environment, all put together. Can you tell me how? Give me an example of someone and break it down for us.
Lovely.
Give me an example.
So the key part also of this is understanding the role of vision boards. Now, vision boards are something that have become very popular with Pinterest, etc. Early on, we had to use actual magazines and cut them out. Now we have digital versions of it. You have to have a vision for your life. You need to know where you want to go and what you want to do with it. It's very important. But instead of having a vision board, have a vision story. Stories are such a human concept. We associate with stories very deeply. Write out your story of what your life will look like 5 years from now. Don't just put a picture of a Ferrari. Don't put a picture of this villa in Miami. You need to have a story on how you got there. You need to figure out how this journey comes in. Who is the hero? Who was the guide for this hero? Who are the evil people along the way? And that makes it richer. As soon as you can create a richer visual, the ability to make that change increases dramatically. So visualizing what you want is as important as anything else. Then you know, and this is the direction. Then what I tell people is, now that you know what you want and you visualized and you're like very excited, don't go and start 7 different things. Okay? You can only change 3 habits at a time. So focus only on 3 habits that you can change. Because think about it. Every time you pull out a habit, it's too much of a disruption to your life. Changing 7 things about your life means you are not you anymore. And the resistance to go back to you is too strong. So it's going to pull you back. So only 3 things at a time is what you tweak and you work on. Now, how do you go about this process? I'll give an example of one of my friends in Dubai. Okay, so there's an example of how not to do it. I talk about this all the time. She wakes up on the 31st of December and
Okay,
says,
you're talking about a common man. Normally, people do it on 31st December.
31st December.
So that's the best example you can give. I
Right?
think everyone will relate to it. Go for it.
100%.
Yeah.
Because number of people come to me and say, Ashdin, it's New Year's time. We want you to do a talk on New Year resolutions. Right? Every single coach's and gym's bread and butter starts on the 1st of Jan. So, and I was like, yeah, your New Year resolutions is a wish list. We won't talk about wish lists. We'll actually do about to-do lists. So anyway, so 31st December, she decides that on the 1st, she's going to wake up at 5 a.m. And go for a 5-kilometer run. Now, this girl has never woken up at 5 a.m. and has never run 5 kilometers in her life. Why would she want to make this into a habit? So you're setting yourself up for failure. The reason why I'm saying this is most of our life, we set ourselves up for failure and then we feel bad that we are failures.
Yeah.
Then we feel guilty that we are failures. We've set ourselves up for it.
Yeah,
So
Ashdin,
let's
I
not
want
do
to
that.
pause here and ask why this is very important is because the way social media is set up is you're comparing yourself with someone else for, let's say, 6-pack, whatever, right? And suddenly you want to make this drastic change one fine morning. I want to do these 5 things. And you're saying it's setting up for failure. There is no way it is going to happen. For anything to change in life, I think your book also says that. Small changes.
Correct.
Consistently.
Yes.
That's the key, right? It's small changes. Nothing drastic. Because it won't work. You're not wired for it, right? Can you dive a little deep into that?
It took me 42 years to get here. How can I suddenly change it? You have to think of your life like the Titanic, right? The Titanic is a huge ship. The rudder is very small. It's going to take a long time for that ship to turn. You have to allow it to slowly turn. Don't put an iceberg in front of you just unnecessarily because you feel that, it's motivation. Doesn't work like that. So what I tell people is understand how do we start making these changes. And the example I give is of a client who wanted to start a yoga habit. Okay. Many people want to start yoga. And she comes to me and says, Ashdin, I want to start doing yoga. I was like, fantastic. We then broke it down intention-wise. Okay. Why do you want to do yoga? I want to do yoga to become more flexible. Amazing. Why do you want to become more flexible? See, all about intention is about peeling the onion, right? You're asking why multiple times. Did you get to this core idea? So most of the time it happens in 3 whys. So the second one was, I want to become more flexible so that I can sit on the ground. Now we're getting to a strange area. Why do you want to sit on the ground? I want to sit on the ground so that I can play with my child. Once you get down to something like this, she believes that she's not going to be a good mom or she's going to miss out on the child's life because she can't sit on the ground. That intention is very strong.
So that's a strong why for a reason where she will get the discipline and the small changes to get the habit done.
Correct.
Until she probes and understands, she wants to do this because of that why. Until you do the connection, get that emotion into play, it won't fall in place.
It won't happen. And even if you miss it, then you'll be like, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yep.
This prevents you from saying, I'll do it tomorrow because you're seeing your child immediately, right? So you have to get down to that emotion. Now, the next step on creating habits is what I call the 3 golden rules of habit change. There are 3 golden rules that I've noticed work with everyone. The first one is make it stupidly small. Stupidly small means make it so small that you feel stupid not doing it. So do not sign up for a 30-minute yoga program. Do not sign up for one yoga teacher coming every day. Instead, your stupidly small habit is just to roll out that yoga mat and sit on it. Not even do the yoga, just sit on it. But now the fact that you're sitting on it, you will probably do a little stretching. You'll do maybe 2 Surya Namaskars. The problem is that we think that unless I have my 30 minutes, I can't start my yoga. This way, even if you had those 5 minutes, you got 5 minutes of yoga in. You started changing a bit of your identity. You started believing that you're the kind of person that does yoga. First golden rule. Second golden rule is make it extremely easy. This is about removing friction from your life. Friction means what? Every time an excuse comes up, that means there is friction. But the yoga mat is on top of the cupboard. I have to climb up. I have to use that ladder to climb up. Not going to happen. You need to figure out how to make that yoga mat sit right next to where you watch TV. So you pull it out, put it down. All excuses are gone. Think about where all our healthy food resides in our home. It is in that chiller tray of the fridge at the bottom.
Correct.
Where is all our junk food? On the dining table or right next to the dining table. What are we going to reach for? So you have to suddenly realize how the excuses in our life can be removed? How can you polish away this friction?
That's where environment comes into play. How do
Also, and the kind of people around you. And the third one, and in fact, we should talk about environment as well. And the third one is never miss 2 days in a row. Many people believe in this, I need a habit streak. 21 days, 90 days, etc., etc. If I miss one, I have to start again. That means the habit's broken. I keep telling people we're not robots. Okay, life comes in the way. Sometimes you have to go for a wedding, sometimes you have to go for somebody's party, sometimes your child is sick. You have to figure out that I miss one day, no problem. Habit coach will not shout at you. But if I miss 2 days, habit coach will shout. Because what happens when you miss 2 days is that missing is now the new habit. Excuses are the new habit. You have created a new wiring for missing this thing that you were so dedicated to at one point of time. So what you do is, on the second day, do the smallest version of that habit. Pull out the yoga mat, sit on it, get up, roll the mat again. No problem. Now, for different people, that stupidly small, extremely easy will vary, because some people are already more advanced in a particular habit. So a yoga teacher, stupidly small might be 100 Surya Namaskars. Right? Because she might be practicing 1,000 Surya Namaskars. So that's how you start looking at your life and saying, if I want this to change, what is the one thing that I can do? If you want your diet to change, don't change all your meals at one time. Start with your breakfast, start with your lunch, do one thing and see how that progresses.
So that's how you dissect, but you're saying first why is very important.
Yes.
You need to figure out your why, right?
Absolutely.
And then you work it out. So I also believe small changes, if you do consistently, it accumulates, and end of the day, it amplifies to where you want. Correct? That's the breakdown. Those are small changes which are very, very critical. Brilliant. Now tell me, labeling good and bad habits, is it okay or not?
There's no such thing as a good or bad habit.
Yeah.
There is only a habit. Now you have to ask yourself, is this habit moving me towards my goal or away from my goal? And that's how I see it, right? Smoking. If you got into smoking because this was the only way you could spend time with your boss and hence improve your career, at that point of time, it was a necessary habit. Now that you're already the boss and you don't have to impress anyone, do you still need to smoke? So that habit is no longer serving you. So what we have to do is, all the habits that we feel are holding us back, we need to realize that it's no longer serving me. Can I tweak this? See, as soon as we say good habit, bad habit, we're using guilt and shame to make a change. More importantly, who are you to say this is good or bad? Now judgment is coming in, ego is coming in, all the other stuff that we try to move away from is coming in. There's no point labeling these things. Just think, if I do more of this habit, will it turn it into that vision that I have of myself? Or if I do less of this habit, it's going to be there. That's how we start looking at it. Now, since you asked about good and bad habits, many people talk about breaking a bad habit, right?
The language they use is.
The language.
Yeah. We have to be watchful what words we use in our head also, right? Yeah, good.
The words we use are habits, right?
Correct.
And how watchful we are. I used to keep having this debate with my dad. He's like, Ashdin, I can't keep being so conscious about all the words. No, Dad, every word you utter is going to change something in the world around you. Be extremely careful. Even our ums and ahs, etc., all our filler words are extremely important. Anyway, coming back to this. So when we talk about bad habits and breaking a bad habit, the word breaking means that now you'll have an empty space. When you have an empty space, the body and mind want to fill it with something. You have to be very careful what goes inside. If you just focus on the breaking of a bad habit, something else will come that still might not be in lines with what you want. So instead, what I tell is replace a habit. Know what you're going to replace that habit with. So for example, many people have a habit of coming back from work and pouring themselves a drink. Why do they do that? One of two reasons. One, that drink is the full stop for the working day. Working day over, now I can relax, full stop. Or they might be lonely and the drink is their companion. So that means we have to solve for the companion problem and for the full stop problem. It's not the alcohol problem. So how do we now think about what we can replace for that full stop, and what can we replace for that that loneliness that the person is feeling? So either you can go to the gym in the evening instead of the morning. That is also a good full stop. You can, go for a drive, listen to music, do your meditation, whatever. But find something to replace that bad habit with, the habit you don't want. I often think of it as if you ever watched the Indiana Jones movie where he picks up this idol and has to replace it immediately before the pressure sensor feels that something has changed. That is what our life is like. You have to move the habit and put something new in very quickly.
When you say it, it looks very easy, but it's actually not that easy. Because let's take a habit, for example. Somebody who's got a long, stressful day.
Yeah.
And in their head, they want to relax. And for them, as you rightly said, going back home, seeing Netflix and having 2 glasses of whiskey will relax them.
I deserve it.
Yeah, in their head, right? So, which means in a stressful day, I feel that's a trigger. And the reward they want is they want to relax.
Correct.
And the routine habit which is kicked in is 2 glasses of whiskey and Netflix.
Yes.
Right. So, ideally, what you're saying is for them here, if they have a stressful day, they want to relax, they have to change that routine. And that has to be consciously done.
Correct.
Can you replace it with a 30-minute walk or go to a gym? Now that we're told that, how do we do it? Because this has been wired for so long.
Yes.
And it's been working, right? Immediately after 2 glasses, you relax and you don't think about work and you're done.
Yes.
So now how do you consciously do it? Now that we know that we have to change the routine there, how do we do it?
So what you do is you start making the change when you have energy. When you don't have energy, the ability to make decisions goes out the window, right? You have a salad in the fridge, you have a brownie in the fridge, but after a long day of work, you will have the brownie, not the salad. So it's not that the option wasn't there, it was that the energy was not there. That is number one. Your choices come from your energy level. So in the morning when you have full energy, what you do is you pack your bags with your walking shoes and your walking clothes. And you take that with you to the office.
So you make the decision in the morning.
You make the decision in the morning when you have your energy full. And in the office, before leaving, is when you change your clothes for your morning walk or evening walk. What you're doing is you're removing the ability to go home and then fight that inertia of sitting down on that chair or that routine, sitting on the chair, pouring the drink, etc. You can also do more extreme things like locking your cupboard and giving the key to your neighbor.
Which means you can't reach for the whiskey bottle.
Reach for the whiskey bottle. So there are different ways in which you would approach it. But the first one is understanding that don't use willpower to try and make this change.
Yeah, let's talk about willpower.
Right? Because it's like my mom. My mom will say, no, Ashdin, I'm trying to fight my urge to eat my chocolates. And her entire room is full of chocolates. I was like, this is a losing battle. Clearly. So what we have to do is we have to understand its energy plus the kind of environment that we create around us.
So willpower, right? Let's talk about willpower. For me, willpower is like a battery with full charge in the morning. Correct? Throughout the day, it's going to go to 0. Correct? As simple as that.
Yes.
If you want to use willpower to force a decision on yourself, morning it might work because your energy is up. When you come down in the evening, when your energy is down, your primitive brain kicks in. That is where it wants to be. Comfort, relaxed. It won't make any decision. It will go for that whiskey.
Yes.
So you can't make the decision ideally there. Correct? So you can't depend on willpower to force to change a habit. Correct? Now, if I can't depend on willpower, then what do I have to do? I have to figure out systems, small things where I really hack myself and get it done and get an environment conducive for it. Is that how we go about it?
Yeah. So you create your systems and processes and you outsource them. So the beauty is how much of your life can you outsource to the decisions, not yours ultimately. You keep forgetting to take your supplements. The supplements should come with you with your lunch. You outsource the system. You can't figure out what to make. And, many of us are blessed to have somebody cook our food for us. We don't have to cook our own food very often. Or even if we do, you design the menu when you have your energy in the morning for the rest of the week and you outsource it. You don't have to use your brain at that point of time. Like just before this, how much time we spent thinking about what to eat for lunch after this podcast, right? So, and normally people will ask you what you want to eat just after you've eaten. So that's the worst time to start thinking about it. Anyway, so you outsource the system as much as you can. The other thing about willpower to realize is how can you think about reducing the drain of the battery or increasing the size of the battery. Both of these are possible. How do you do this? One is you make less decisions if you have to. The less number of decisions, the easier your willpower, the more willpower
Can you talk a little about decision fatigue also?
Yes.
People don't know there's something called decision fatigue, right? Correct? Because the number of decisions you do, everything is a decision. You're driving, you're seeing something, you're taking a turn is a decision. Everything is a decision.
Correct.
And the more you do, you're going to have fatigue. That's why end of the day, you don't have energy to take the decision.
Correct.
And that's where you go to your default setting, which is a whiskey or a piece of cake or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly what your default setting is. So the idea of decision fatigue is that your life is full of decisions. Reduce them as much as you can. Autopilot as much as you can. Some people say this is a boring life, but I look at it as it's a life that gives you opportunity to do more. It's not about doing less. It's about actually doing more on things that matter. So how do you do this? Starting from, obviously, we know with the tech CEOs, all the clothes that they wear, they always wear the same thing over and over and over again. But food is another big decision. When will I go to the gym? When will I work out? Big decision. Also, the kind of decisions that happen with your family. Now, one of the biggest problems is that the family questions and the questions from your team come at random times of the day. You are in the middle of thinking about one thing and suddenly somebody will come and ask you a question that you need to take a decision on for something else. Can you batch process your decision making? So you have focus time and you have batch process decision time. Tell me what you want. Okay, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Then you come back to your focused work. Another key thing that we don't realize is that you can replenish energy during the day. It's not just sleep. How do you do that? If you are somebody who's constantly on Excel sheets or using intellectual energy, can you do something creative for a short period of time? Could be drawing, could be writing a poem, could be, trimming your bonsai plant, could be anything, but that gives you that little boost of creative energy. You'll notice that that decision fatigue starts going away and you can have a little bit more energy and willpower going ahead. Similarly, if you are somebody who's stuck in a chair all day long, that little morning walk and that walk after your lunch will again boost your energy up. So can you have these micro recovery moments throughout the day? So in one of the sessions that I do, we call it wellness micro habits, where we say that you need to understand that your body is made up of different energy tanks. There is physical energy, intellectual energy, emotional energy, spiritual energy. And half the time we are filling the wrong tank and wondering why we're still tired. So intellectual energy is down. That means you spend so much time either making decisions or on Excel, etc. And then what do? Is we go and have a coffee. What does the coffee do? The coffee fills up our physical energy. It has done nothing for our intellectual energy. Which is why when we come home, we still feel tired, but we can't sleep because we are wired. So this way of looking at our energy system is very, very powerful. Spiritual energy is one that is constantly misunderstood.
Yes.
Spiritual energy is to say Om and sit in one place, have to wear white, have to wear a mala. No, none of that. Spiritual energy is your energy of purpose. If you feel like you're a cog in a wheel, a cog in a machine, like you're not valued, useless, all those feelings, spiritual energy gets drained very fast. Which is why we have pets, which is why we have passion projects, which is why we have hobbies. And think about it, Suryan, like nobody's having hobbies now. Hobbies used to be such a huge thing when our parents were growing up, we were growing up. Now hobbies have started disappearing. Hobbies give you that sense of purpose, give you that little boost of spiritual energy that you need. Of course, you can do meditation. Of course, you can talk to God, pray. But these little things also make such a difference to our life.
Ashdin, can you just break down? Because what you said is very interesting now for somebody watching or listening to this podcast, right? Intellectual energy, spiritual energy, emotional. How do you break it down? Let's take, I am your client and you're breaking down my life, right? How do I have to look at what? How do I do the balance? And how do I to replenish it? What needs to be done for each?
Lovely. Step one is to become conscious that there are these four energies in us. Physical means, do I have backache, headache? Many people live life with a headache. Imagine what is that doing to their physical energy? Am I in a state of ease or am I in a state of disease? That is your physical energy. Your workout increases physical energy, doesn't drain it.
Correct.
Okay, that's an important thing. We think that if I go to the gym, I'll feel tired. No, you will feel more energetic.
Correct.
Okay, so physical energy is an interesting one. It's the easiest one for us to understand because we feel it. The second one is intellectual. Intellectual is our mind, constantly thinking. We are blessed that you have such a big prefrontal cortex that is constantly looking for issues around us that need to be solved. Can we give that a break and reduce that? We now live in a world which is everything is intellectual.
Yeah.
My intellect is compared to yours.
Correct.
AI is nothing but intellectual energy, right? So we need to understand how do we maintain and balance this. So I look at my clients and see what kind of decisions are they making and how have they structured their day. Are they constantly replying to emails? Big drain on your intellectual energy.
Correct.
As soon as somebody's email comes in, it means somebody else's problem is now my problem. So how do I start looking at this intellectual energy? Next is emotional energy. Emotional energy is something that, especially as men, we are not taught how to understand or regulate. In groups, I say, how many emotions can you name? How many emotions can you name right now? Like start thinking emotions. You'll think of anger,
Shame,
sorrow, guilt, etc., etc.
fear. Yeah.
You'll reach number 7 and then you will say, sab kuch ho gaya. But there are 40 different emotions, far more. You just search for your emotions wheel and you'll find so many emotions. What I tell people is take a printout of that, put it on your desk and keep asking yourself, how am I feeling? You will learn new words. And we just said, words have power. As soon as you learn a word, you now know what you can do for it. So if I suddenly feel betrayed, which would never have come up in a conversation, I would have said, I'm feeling bad that you said this. But I would have never said, I'm feeling betrayed that you said this. But if I feel betrayed, now I know what to do. I can address betrayal far better than I can address a
Feeling
random
bad.
word like sadness or feeling bad. Feeling bad though doesn't exist on the wheel. There's no word like bad, emotion like bad. So that is the first step of understanding your emotional energy.
So I'll pause. Emotional wheel, put a printout so that you know what is already there. And you look at yourself, the way you feel, and try to point out which emotion is it.
How am I feeling
Until
today?
you can't pinpoint that,
Yes.
you will not work on solve it, right?
Correct.
I'll tell you, we were doing a workshop. What we found was people don't know how to feel itself. What they were saying is actually a thought.
Yes.
I'm saying that is a thought. I'm asking you how you feel. And the world is designed where people don't even know how they feel. Thank you for talking about this. Please go ahead. So emotional wellness. Next.
In fact, what you said is so right, because we work in a world where if I share my feeling, I'm seen as weak. So feelings equal to weakness is what we're currently being taught. Not understanding that feelings is, and you know this, which is energy in motion, emotion. We talk about it all the time. We don't realize that that same betrayal could help you get a breakthrough in another part of your life. You could also then associate with some place when you betrayed somebody and said, oh shit, that is what that person felt like. And that emotion of betrayal, which you're feeling at that point of time, could be a journey into a deeper part of you and a healing journey at that.
Yeah.
So we need to understand these emotions very, very clearly.
So physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual.
And spiritual.
Okay.
So what we do is, once we understand these emotions, and we discussed spiritual before we did these, once we understand these energy tanks, I keep telling people, every 90 minutes, ask yourself, how am I on these? Why 90 minutes? Because you finished 3 Pomodoros at that time.
Correct.
Right? Like you've finished 3 work cycles, 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes of break, 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes of break.
So first tell people they have to do that. Huh? Most people don't know that.
It's the most life-altering thing that you can
please
do.
share that?
Okay. Or every single book that I've ever written has been written using this Pomodoro technique, because what it does is it gives you hyper focus. I was giving a talk at this university the other day, and I was telling them that you guys realize that you all are the luckiest generation. Not because healthcare is at its best, peace is there, all of that is fine, but because your entire competition is distracted. Your entire when was everyone so distracted that you could actually succeed at something? So imagine in a world where everyone's distracted, focus is the new currency. Time, focus. Now what do? Is we realize that if I can focus better than the person next to me, I can achieve more. What used to take me an hour and a half to work takes me now 25 minutes because of that focus. What do? I switch off email, I switch off notifications. There's no music playing in the background. There is only one task that I have to complete. It's a set defined task that'll take me 25 minutes that I'll complete. Write 750 words. Fantastic. And it's 750 words. After that, I take a break. 5 minutes, I go to the washroom, I make my coffee, I finish talking to on the phone. I come back and next 25 minutes. Now, when I break up my life like this, it has enough of work and enough of rest to sustain my energy throughout the day. You know, Suryan, it's so interesting. I tell people that at the end of the day, it is not time that is your enemy, it's your energy.
Correct.
You're at 3 o'clock, you still have 2 hours or 3 hours of your working day left, but you're looking at the clock saying, I want to go home because your energy is low. You had time. So don't blame time. Think about your energy. So when you do Pomodoro, what you can do is you can actually fill up your day with focused work and get more done. Which is why most of my thoughts will be in 30 minutes,
Chunks
60
of 30
minutes,
minutes.
90 minutes. So these are Pomodoro chunks that you can start with your work. So every 90 minutes, ask, was this an intellectually heavy 90 minutes or was it an emotionally heavy 90 minutes? How emotionally heavy? Maybe you had your the person reporting into you come in and tell you about what's happening in their life and a sad story that you felt connected with. Your emotion also gets affected. So you then need to do something about that emotion.
So you do a status check every 90 minutes to check in the 4 tanks which one got depleted.
Correct. Have I been sitting too long? Chalo, let me do my standing desk.
Yeah.
Right? Let me walk up and down the stairs. So that's how you start maintaining that energy throughout the day. Because you can't have a high in the morning and then a crash towards the end. It can't be best decisions in the morning, worst decisions in the evening. So you need to learn how to regulate this tank throughout the day.
That was brilliant, Ashdin. I think that's a great way of saying it. Let's talk about addiction. Okay, any addiction. Okay, one. Let's take smoking for example. Right. I was a smoker. At 41 fine morning, I gave up. Okay, I just gave up. I'm not touched cigarette after that. Correct. Something happened and I took a decision. I changed. So that. But if somebody wants to let go of smoking, it's a habit, right? How would you say? How would the person has to look? It's the same why, same framework, or is there any other way to do it?
No, lovely.
To break any addiction.
Lovely. So first, let's understand what an addiction is. And this was a definition that I loved. This is not mine. I've heard it somewhere. I can't remember where, but it goes like this. Addiction is when something gave you pleasure at one point of time. And the more you do it, the pleasure reduces to a point of 0 and it goes down to negative numbers. So the more you're doing it, it is giving you not just pleasure, but it's giving you pain. But you can't stop. So that when it goes beyond 0 to the negatives is when I call it an addiction. Or when it starts affecting your family members. Till then, it's not an addiction. Okay?
It could be anything.
It could be anything. Mangoes. 1 mango, super pleasurable. 100 mangoes, stomach upset. Correct. Pleasure has turned into pain. So don't have 100 mangoes. But you can't stop. You just keep eating it. So what we do is once we realize that we're on this addiction spectrum, we understand what is it that it was trying to originally help us for. Our addictions, our bad habits are often crutches for something. And when I tell people that, you have to rip it out, it's like taking a lame person's crutch. The person's going to be not in a good place. They won't be able to walk. So instead what we do is we start making their legs stronger. You used to smoke at one point of time because it was your only way of processing emotions, for example. Could be. It was a way of feeling like, you have a little bit of rebelliousness inside you and you're not listening to what society is telling you. Whatever it is, you identify that part of it and solve for that problem, not the smoking.
You identify the story or whatever reason why you picked it up in the first place or why you do it.
Or what's it causing? What's it now?
Yeah. Then you try to replace it. Try to figure out what
it was. Now, there are 2 kinds of addiction. There is a habitual addiction. So something that is not, something because you're in this particular environment you're doing.
Peer pressure or whatever.
Peer pressure, etc. Or there's a chemical addiction. So nicotine, for example, is a chemical addiction. That means it has a half-life. It has to be out of your system for 2 weeks in order for it to not be holding a grasp on you. So if you can ever give up smoking for 2 weeks and never touch a cigarette again, the nicotine part of the problem is gone. Now it is only the environment problem. That means I know that these 3 friends are going to come and offer me a cigarette. I will not be able to pull it. Don't meet them in a place where you can smoke. Right? So go to a restaurant where there is no smoking. Don't go to that pub where you had to go and with a drink you wanted to smoke.
So you have to consciously set the system and environment in your favor.
Yes.
Or else you might get sucked in again.
Not might, will.
Will get sucked in. Okay, there's no might.
Meaning the pressure is so, it's almost muscle memory, right? It's going to happen. You're going to reach for it. I was once talking to somebody about starting a no sugar challenge. And he's like, I'm with you for a no sugar challenge. You over coffee. And while he's telling me I'm with you, he has opened his sugar packet and is putting it in his coffee. And I'm like, Kamlesh, you see what you're doing? When did that happen? He didn't know he was doing it. It was muscle memory. So we need to not be in that environment. So for example, if you're doing no sugar, when you sit down at a coffee table, take the sugar box before your coffee comes and give it away. Simple things like that. And that is how you slowly start getting rid of your smoking. Now you said something important. You said something happened and I gave up smoking. Unfortunately, most of us only give up these things when something happens.
When pain hits you.
Something, pain hits
Whatever.
you. Aha moment has happened, realization, something happened to a friend, something happened to me. The best thing we can do is learn from other people's mistakes. Right?
Don't wait for something to hit you.
Yeah, I mean, it's so sad. One of the reasons why I started habit coaching was like, I never want you to feel the life that I had. Like, learn before any of this happens and learn from other people's mistakes. That's what wisdom is.
Okay, now you told me about addiction. So that's how we work around it. You're saying that deep dive, understand what was that reason why you picked it up in the first place. And if you work on the psychology of it, there's a high probability. Then set the environment and the system in place which works for you. Then that's how you work on a addiction, right?
Correct.
Now let's talk about some problem which everyone is talking about today, procrastination.
Lovely.
Okay. You know what you have to do. For some reason, you're not able to do, right? Can you break it down? Tell the science of it and what needs to be done to beat it.
Procrastination is taking over like by storm. There is so much distraction that procrastination is becoming easier and easier now. Earlier on when we were children, if we procrastinated, there was nothing to do also. So we procrastinate for 3 reasons. And the first reason we procrastinate is when something is too big and scary. As soon as we see this in front of us, we're like, no, not happening. Future Ashdin's problem. Let him worry about it. And we say later. So procrastination is when something's too big. What do we do at that point of time? We say, all right, can we put it into nibble-sized pieces? What is the smallest part that I need to start off with? And just break it down into that. The second reason we procrastinate, and this is a killer one, is because it is too easy to do. When something's too easy to do, we procrastinate. I have to pay that bill. They've already given a credit card link. I just have to click on the link and pay it. But I will not do that. I will procrastinate later, till the due date is gone and you paid the fine now. So what we do when something is too easy, anything that can happen under 2 minutes, you do it now. So you have a 2-minute rule. If it takes 2 minutes, do it now. Web check-in for the evening flight, do it now. Right? So that is how you consciously break that second style of procrastination. And you'll realize most of your procrastination is that. We remember the big ones, but most of the procrastination is that. So if we start changing our identity with that, the big ones become easier. And the third form of procrastination is when your body or subconscious is trying to protect you from something. You have this big public speaking thing that has to happen. You're scared of public speaking. You'll try and not work on that speech for as long as possible. Hopefully, war will break out, something will happen. I might not have to do it. It's protecting you from that emotion of public speaking. How do you get over that? You realize and you question, is there any truth to this fear? Most of our fears are baseless.
So you basically reflect, introspect and go in.
It's like, is it warning me? Fine. If it's warning me, is there any truth? If there's truth to this, handle it. Most of the time, there's no truth to it. If there's no truth to it, say, okay, fine. I'm now going to take a conscious decision for competing. So many people want to start podcasts. How many people procrastinate on that? One, they might find it overwhelming right in the beginning, but more they feel this fear of judgment that might come on them.
Yeah, that's the major one, I feel.
Correct? So that is also where procrastination takes place. You knew that you wanted to probably start this podcast 6 months ago, but it has taken you this long. Why? Because you had to first overcome that fear of judgment, etc., before you could actually get into it.
So the 3 ones, if it's too big, break it into small chunks and start. If it's too small, do it immediately. If it's psychologically stopping you, go reflect, break it down, understand what it is.
Is there any truth to it?
Yeah. Mostly it won't be there, right?
Correct.
Mostly. Then just get it done.
I love fear because fear is nothing but your creativity going for a joyride.
Exactly.
It's like, dude, it is amazing. Your mind is so beautiful that it's creating these fears. There's nothing to it.
Yeah. And most of the fears is in your head. It never happens, right? It never happens in reality.
Nothing.
That can be any fear you're talking about.
Like if you're standing on an edge,
That's a different one. Yeah.
right? There's a fear that you're going to fall over. So I had a deadly fear of heights. Okay, I'll share a little story. I had a deadly fear of heights. And I was passing through my first big change in life where I was getting over all my fears. I was, transforming my life from what it was earlier on. And we were climbing to Everest Base Camp, okay, the trekking. And on that, you walk across these rope bridges. So the first time I approached one of these rope bridges, I froze. There was no way I could move. The whole gang had gone across. They were taking pictures in the middle of the bridge, jumping up and down on it. And I'm like, hold both sides, walk across. Every single bridge, same story. Hold sides, walk across. It was the scariest thing. They were making fun of me. All of that happened. Climbed to Everest Base Camp. Now I was feeling like a rock star. I was like, I did Everest Base Camp. I can do anything. On the way back, I made a decision that I'm going to find the tallest of these bridges. I'm going to go to the middle of the bridge and I'm going to do clapping push-ups in the middle. And there's a video of me going and doing these clapping push-ups in the middle of this bridge because I said, I have to overcome this irrational fear. Because when I'm in the middle, I'm thinking, right now there's going to be an earthquake. Right now there's going to be a tidal wave. Right now there's going to be a landslide. None of that is going to happen. It is all in your mind and the fears and the stories that you're saying. I did that. Afterwards, all the others were easy. You just have that first initial one that you have to overcome. Fear is emotional. You can often overcome it intellectually. You think it through. You don't feel it through.
That's very beautifully put. Fear is emotional. You often can work it intellectually. Think it through. Very beautifully put. Now you need to tell me this story, right? Your understanding of the behavior, psychology of habits, procrastination is mind-blowing. I want to know, how did it get started? What's your story? How did you end up here?
So market research was my first passion because my family business was into market research. My mom was head of psychology at Sophia College. So the kind of conversations in our house were, around psychology, etc. And my family business was market research, which was understanding how people think and people behave, etc. I did that for, I think, 10, 12, 15 years. And on this Everest Base Camp trek, I suddenly realized that I am not giving enough back to society. How am I giving back to society if I'm just helping people sell more products? I want to make people, I wanted to help people change their lives. This happened because I was sitting in my room and I opened my window and I see this beautiful mountain in front of me. And it's one of those picturesque scenes where the sun is just hitting the top. Everything is this orange glow. It's bright, it's beautiful. And I suddenly realized that mountain has no clue who Ashdin Doctor is. It was there long before Ashdin Doctor. It'll be there long after Ashdin Doctor. What was this ego that I'd created? So that is when I decided that I need to dedicate life to service. It has to be for other people. It can't be for myself anymore. So came back, told dad, listen, it's not working for me anymore. I want to do something. I don't know what. I will come up with an idea and I will tell you.
How young were you that time?
I was 33, 34.
Okay.
31, 32 is when I had my crash, 33, 34. So I had just gone through my whole fitness revolution. I was nice and tubby and very, very unfit. I'd become fit, got my 6 packs. And I was wondering, why are people finding fitness so hard? And I was standing on a balcony and I saw this family walking towards a playground and all the children were running and all the parents were lethargically like, And I was like, with life, we are supposed to level up. Why are we leveling down here? Something is wrong. And that's when I started my first business, which was called Fitterby, which was fitness through playing games. So it was all for people who hated exercise, but can we bring masti back into their lives? And it was amazing because people would come for the Fitterby classes who had basically donated money to the gym, paid for the gym, never entered. They would come 5 days a week for this because there was fun and excitement and you could see their life changing. But I realized those same people, after coming for 1 hour to Fitterby, are going home and sitting, watching TV
And idle.
and junk food, etc., I have not made a change in their life. I've only made a change in 60 minutes. So what I then said that, what was it that people appreciated in me that I'd made a change? I was not the most disciplined person, but I realized that I had created habits. When people ask me, Ashdin, how did you do what you did? I would tell them, I did this, I did this, I did this. And they would say, I can't do it. I don't have your motivation. I don't have your self-discipline. All the things we spoke about. That's when this aha happened, saying that if I can just show people how to make a habit change, which does not require motivation, self-discipline, I know that they can bring this about. In order to make all the changes in my life, I must have read, I don't know how many, 300-400 books. I used to read about 100 books a year at that point of time. So I was taking all that information, distilling it down into my life, and then understanding it and then sharing it with people. It started off with a few friends. A friend came and said that, coach me. I was like, I don't know how to coach you, but I'll tell you what I've done. Let's figure it out. I thought I would have 5 clients, ended up with 25 clients that year. And then the Habit Coach podcast started. Habit Coach podcast has now 1,500 episodes. So we are constantly putting out content, constantly learning. And that's when this whole learning about habits, learning about mindset came about. I got opportunities to talk to some of the best coaches, scientists in the world because of the podcast. And every time I spoke to them, I took something away to implement into my life and immediately transform it into somebody else as soon as I understood it completely. That is where all of this has grown in from. I consciously stayed away from wanting to learn a structured manner because I realized in that structured manner, it teaches you also how to think. And I didn't want that. I wanted to have my own ability to think, taking my own past life into consideration. And that's how habit coaching started. And that's how all these ideas come about and transform.
Amazing, Ashdin. The work you've done, the books you have written, the impact you've created. Now let's talk about one thing which self-help proclaims. 21 days you do a habit, 90 days you do it, it becomes a lifestyle. You take on it.
I've never seen any habit form in 21 days.
Okay.
Lifestyle to chodo, meaning that's a different beast altogether. See, what is the problem with this 21-day issue? As soon as you set a goal for 21 days, on 23rd day, you will stop it.
Because you already said you're going to do for
21 days.
In your head.
I had this friend, Ashdin, I will no longer smoke. I've done this for 21 days. Now I'm not a smoker. Ganta. Didn't last for more than the 24th day. She started smoking again. See, what is the issue with it? As soon as you have a finite amount, you think that your habit is done. Your habit is for the rest of your life. You have to think life. That means you have to think not about this particular habit, but how do you grow with this habit?
So all the fad diets, crash diets will crash because of this reason.
Correct.
Because you want to do this for so long and you want this and you expect after that it'll continue. It won't. Because you're starting itself in a wrong footing.
As soon as you say, I am on a diet, within that, the word on means that you will be off it soon.
Yep.
I'm currently on a diet means in the future I'll be off it. Right? So you have to realize this. Where does challenges, for example, I love doing 100-day no sugar challenges, 3 months of no sugar. Where do challenges come into this? Challenges come as a way of teaching you there is more to life than what you currently think about. But it's not necessarily a habit change. So I would suggest do challenges instead of thinking about 21 days. Do 30-day challenges.
Or do a 21-day challenge. Okay.
Right? Because what the challenge teaches you saying, Acha, I love ketchup, but I can't have ketchup because it has sugar in it. Let me think if I can make ketchup at home, or let me see if I can use Tabasco or something else. So that is how you start learning how to make that change. The challenge throws you out of your comfort zone and allows you to understand life beyond that particular habit.
Okay. So you're one who says 21 days habit, 90 days lifestyle. Doesn't work. Don't even think about it. Don't even go for it because you will definitely come back to your own pattern.
Think about rest of my life.
Okay.
So say I want to read 5 pages a day for 21 days. Fantastic. But that means for the rest of your life, you want to read only 5 pages. Maybe you want to grow it to 10 pages, 15 pages. So grow with your habits. Don't be stagnant with them.
Bang on. One more thing which we talk because of the current times. Let's say hustle culture. Right? People glorify it. People as the show of saying, I do this, I work for so long, 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. What is your take on it?
Hustle culture is fantastic if you are not getting out of bed and are what we call lazy. Lazy means you don't have a purpose. So hustle culture helps you get some form of purpose in life. The problem with hustle culture is it doesn't talk about the high rest that is needed along with the high effort that is put in. Are you maximizing your sleep? Are you maximizing your downtime? Are you maximizing moments of silence? That is a key part of hustle culture also. You need to hustle the rest as much as you hustle the work. I learned this the hard way because for me, hustle was go, 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 go till I burnt out and collapsed. And this is a story that I see hearing so often now. What you need to do is you need to realize that the rest and the pause is where the magic happens. So every single athlete sleeps 10 hours because that 10 hours is where the muscle recovers. All your bodybuilders spend 4 hours in the gym, but they spend 10 hours sleeping. Sleep is when the recovery takes place. Sleep is when you actually start growing. So that rest and recovery is important. But the bigger problem with hustle culture is when in hustle culture you achieve success. Hustle culture plus success means that you continue hustling with that success. The chances of you making dubious decisions become more. I've seen this happen so often. You've hustled your life, you've got your success, but now what do I do next? Because you're constantly thinking next. You start making poorer and poorer choices. Your personality starts changing. You wanted to be a good human being, that starts disappearing. I would strongly suggest instead of hustle, talk about discipline. You know, we were looking at the Gita the other day. Gita doesn't talk about hustle. It talks about a disciplined life. Disciplined life means your boring life. You know what your routines are. You know what your set things are. You know what you have to do and you do that. You let the rest go. You're not attached to the outcomes. As long as you know you did everything in your capacity.
So that's how you need to program your life. And you're saying your downtime is as important like your uptime. You need to give that sleep.
Yes.
You need to give a pause to your thinking. You need to be silent. If you don't do that, you're going to eventually burn out, which happened to you also.
Yes.
Which is one of the reasons how you turned it around. Correct?
And what's important is with this is that we don't know how to relax. Nobody's teaching us how to relax. People are teaching us how to hustle. Nobody's teaching us how to relax. Because we think relaxing is equal to going for a sound bath. That's not what relaxing. You can't do a sound bath every day. Correct? You have to understand what are the down moments that you can create on a daily basis.
And you need to plan it so that the balance is arrived and your life can go on. Now that you're talking about it, also tell me, if somebody watching this podcast, right, they want to change one habit, which is not working for them, correct? And they want to slow down in life. What would you tell them to do?
So, slow down with a purpose. That means you slow down for a reason. Have something to look forward to. Many a times, we pack so much into our day because one, we are too scared to think about what's going on in our mind. Right? If I am so busy, I have no chance to think about my emotions, which is why I'm so busy. So escapism is one. The second thing is I have nothing better to go to. Why do Mondays suck for most people? Because they have nothing to look forward to on a Monday. So can you start creating things that bring you excitement and joy in your life? How do you do this? Experimentation. You right now don't know what you like doing. You don't know if you like playing the saxophone or if you like playing the violin. Do you like drawing? Do you like doing pottery? So what you do is you allow 6 months of your life to explore. Do as much as you possibly can till you find something that connects with you at a deep level. That then becomes your sanctuary for relaxation. It is so important to do these things to get out of your current patterns of behavior. Jumping a little bit from this topic, I'll tell you a little bit about how I created my life change the first time around. This was before the Everest story. It was New Year's, and I don't believe in like resolutions as such. So I gave myself 3 theories of life on 3 things that I want to do in this year. The first one was obviously get a 6-pack. I was nice and tubby. I said, I need to get 6-pack. So 6-pack was one. The second one was to do all these things that people have told me I should not be doing. So every time someone has told me not to do it, do it. See what will happen. Because most of the time people have taught you not to do something because of shame, because of guilt, because they think it's the right thing. But is it the right thing for you? Who knows? So do it. And the third one was to fail at everything. I gave myself permission for 1 year to fail at everything I did. I had become a chronic winner. Winning is also a habit. I'd become a chronic winner. But what I realized with the chronic winning was also that I wasn't stepping out of my comfort zone enough. If I was always winning, it means that I wasn't taking enough risks. So I was giving myself permission to fail. And I told everyone this. I told my dad, I told my mom, I will be failing at things. And that is actually how this Everest Base Camp trek happened.
So you gave freedom to experiment, irrespective of whatever happened.
Outcome. We were so hell-bent on that outcome of winning that we never allow ourselves to try new things. Failing is how you learn. Winning is what you put on Instagram, but failing is how you learn.
Failing teaches you, right? That's the only way you learn and evolve and grow. There's no two ways to it.
So that is how I designed these 3 things that I wanted to do in life. And so much of my life changed because of this. And I would strongly suggest, allow yourself permission to make these.
Okay, now you told me 3 things, right? The first one, from a fat belly to 6-pack. What was the psychology? What did you do? How do you break it up? What habits did you bring in? How long did it take? Did you fail somewhere? And how did you make it happen?
Lovely. Lots of failing happened.
Yes.
So I started off by not being able to climb up a flight of stairs. I would climb up one floor and I would pause and I would take a deep breath and I would climb up another floor. Now, in a typical fashion, what I did was I bought all those programs called Insanity Workout, P90X, 90 minutes of working out, 60 minutes of working out, and I would try following along. And in 3 minutes, I was on the floor. Okay, I'll just see these hot bodies jumping up and down, but beyond that, I can't do anything. Then I discovered a Tabata workout, which is a 4-minute workout. Like, chalo, 4 minutes I can do. So I started doing Tabata workouts every day. I did 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. That 4 minutes then became 8 minutes. I did
Tabata is something you see, it's like a...
Correct. So Tabata workout is 20 minutes on, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off of one exercise of high intensity. So
high
you
intensity,
push
there's a 10
much.
second break, 20 seconds again you do, take a break. Okay.
It's exactly like a Pomodoro, but in an exercise format. 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Basically, what this does is this improves your cardiovascular capacity. It also gives all the muscles that were sleeping a little boost. Now, the beauty of body weight exercises is that you can only do as much as your body allows.
Its own body weight. You're not taking weights.
You're not taking anything. So the chance of injury is far lesser. So did my Tabata workouts. Slowly that 4 minutes turned to 8 minutes, 8 minutes turned to 20 minutes. Then I took a gym membership, started going back to the gym. And I fell in love with the way my body was transforming. That love for the transformation made me want to do more and learn about it. At that point of time, Instagram had just come in and there were these posts that said, abs are made in the kitchen. So I said, chalo, crunches are not going to give me my abs. So I said, let's start looking at food. I tried every diet. I tried GM diet. I tried, that time keto and all wasn't there. I tried all the diets that were currently in fad. And I realized none of them were easy to maintain. I needed a lifestyle. That's when I discovered intermittent fasting. 10 years ago, nobody knew what intermittent fasting was. So I would do my 10-minute, I would tell people that I'm not eating for 16 hours and everyone would freak out saying, Ashdin, you're going to faint, you're going to die. Don't drive the car, don't cross the road. You know how people are. And intermittent fasting was the best. The way that I lost my weight, because what it was teaching my body to use the fat that was already stored. It wasn't about not eating. It wasn't about calorie deficits. It was teaching the body saying that, look, you have so much storage. Why are you eating more? And instead of making a bad relationship with my food, it increased the relationship with my food. Because hunger is one of the first things that we need to overcome for self-mastery. We don't realize that we've never felt hungry in our lives. You know, after doing a 5-day fast now, I still don't feel hungry. Pure hunger is a different emotion. What we feel is boredom.
Correct.
What we feel is the need for social validation. What we feel is that boredom on our tongue. So we need to learn fasting as a beautiful way of controlling our mind, controlling our body. So I'm a huge proponent of fasting, intermittent or longer. So I started seeing a change. Muscles are coming, fat is reducing, but not at the rate I wanted. So suddenly I realized that stress was an important carrier. Because the more cortisol you have, the more your body feels it's in a state of stress. It needs to hold on to whatever resources are there inside. So learning to calm down and relax. And I remembered as a child, I used to be I used to have moments of blankness. Where has that blankness gone? Where has that stillness gone? If I'm in a bus or if I'm in a car, I'm constantly thinking about work. Can I bring that stillness back into my life? So that drove me down this entire world of meditation, journaling, sound, all of that. And I tried everything that could possibly work for me. For me, the ones that worked the best were journaling, because journaling helps you take all the kachra in your mind and put it out on paper. And once your fingers have written it, means your brain has also thought it and it's gone through. And the second was this form of meditation that my mother teaches called Satya meditation. These two transformed my life in terms of my brain. Now, next frontier was sleep, which is why I asked you, how's your sleep? Because you're tracking your sleep. And I started tracking my sleep way back then. I started biohacking my sleep. Everything was red light in the house, chasmas. I did all of that. And I realized that sleep, stress, food, and the workouts that we're doing together had the biggest impact. The problem is we try doing all these at the same time. Don't do it at the same time. Do it the way that I did. Focus on one aspect of life first.
So you started with the 4 minutes workout and started slowly building it.
So the body started.
Watched on the food, went intermittent fasting.
Correct.
Then focused on sleep and
the
that was
mind
mind
first.
stress.
Correct.
So
And
you
then-
did. So that's how you need to go. All together won't work at all.
All together. See, you go to the gym and your body starts growing, and then your body's saying, give me raw materials. And you're feeding thermocol to it, just like the example I gave. So now you say, I can't give thermocol to this beautiful body I want to build. Let me change it. So my intention for changing my body was interesting. There was this, still is this theory that you get a new body every 7 years, right? All your skin cells go, change, goes, etc., etc. So I said, imagine if I give the perfect raw materials for 7 years, I will have an awesome body in 7 years. So my mindset was 7 years from now, what can I create from the steps that I'm doing today?
That's how you did. Okay. You're a habit coach, right? I'm going to ask you this question. What was that one habit which took a long time for you to cultivate?
Or still has not cultivated?
Oh, that's the last question for me. Okay, let's start with the first one. Okay.
For me, I think the hardest one to cultivate again is food and sweets for me. Because I come from a family where sweets and sugar are seen as your de-stressor and your reward. So it's a constant. And for me, the challenges was the best way of overcoming this. The no sugar challenge, I did my first no sugar challenge. It was a 100-day pure no sugar challenge because a friend of mine told me about her friend who was addicted to Coca-Cola. She used to drink 4 liters of Coke a day. And I was like, what? She said, yeah, she's doing no sugar. So I said, I will support an unknown person. What better than an anonymous person supporting you? Chalo. So 100 days, no sugar. On 101 day, I went with my friend to a donut shop and I said, I'm going to eat a donut. Took one bite of it and I could not palate my favorite donut because
It hits you so hard,
it
right?
hits you so hard. And you suddenly realize just how tolerant you get to things. So for me, sugar was the hardest one to break. It still is. It comes in and goes from time to time.
So that was hardest to break. What was one habit which was very hard to cultivate? You didn't have it, but you really worked it and cultivated it. What was the hardest one for you?
I think writing and expressing yourself. So what I realized was I was fantastic at, my creativity was building things. I love building a business. I love building programs. But creativity was something that was impossible for me. I remember in school, I failed an art exam. How do you fail an art? Right? I failed every single art exam. So in my mind, it was a block. If somebody gave me color pens, I would take black and I would do it. I was like, I don't want colors. So cultivating the habit of expressing creatively was one of the hardest that I've done so far. The others were easy. Like I said, I can break down exercise into small bits, nutrition into small bits. But creativity, how do you break down? So every day I had these colorful things on my table and my break was to just express. There was no right or wrong in what I was doing. I had to break that mindset that I had earlier.
So that was consciously doing the small things and that's how you overcome it. Okay, one habit you're still working on.
That screen in our pocket.
Yeah.
That mobile phone is such an evil thing.
Yeah.
Every single workshop I do, speech I give, the question that comes up is, what do I do about my mobile phone addiction? And I keep telling them that, look, first, stop blaming yourself. It is not your fault. Don't feel guilty about it. People are spending billions of dollars trying to get you addicted, right? How can our small little fusky brain
Exactly.
compete?
How can you beat billions of dollars of algorithm?
Algorithms
Because your
cannot.
hand automatically goes to your phone. It's not even conscious, right? Like
Yeah.
default, it goes in every 10 minutes or 5 minutes and you want to see WhatsApp and Instagram.
Correct.
Okay, now
This
that
is
you're
so-
talking, tell the whole world how we can beat it.
So what we have to do is you have to realize that you have to first delete these apps from your phones for just a week. Which ones? Any social media that has a scrolling component to it, or any app that has a scrolling component. So for example, your dating apps are now exactly like that. Anything that gives you a let me see what is coming. Let me see what is coming. So news apps, social media apps, dating apps, anything that is giving you that little bit of curiosity of what's going to come next has to leave your phone. Second is, it's okay for using, for example, WhatsApp, because messages from time to time are needed. What you suddenly realize is that you start having a clearer mind through your day. The second thing you realize is that you stop comparing yourself as much as you were earlier on. The biggest problem I see with kids now is that this whole comparative world that they're living in is so painful for them. They're constantly in a state of less than. And you and I know that that feeling of less than is not where magic happens. You know, unfortunately, we were taught in school that if I make you feel less than, you will perform more. No, that is not how it works anymore. So they're constantly that state of that person has, I don't. When these apps go from your life, fear goes away, comparison goes away. You start becoming a little bit of your truer self. The other thing that you can do is when you are at home, take your phone, put it in a drawer and keep it away from you. What I've started doing at home is I've created designated areas for phone usage only. So it's almost like turning your smartphone into a landline phone. So I cannot take my phone and take it to the dining table. So the places I can't take it to the bedroom or the bed. I can't take it to the dining table. I can't take it to the sofa where the family sits. And I can't take it to the toilet.
Wow. So in the night, your phone is not right next to you.
My phone cannot be next to me.
Okay.
In fact, it drove my interior decorators mad, saying, I want my phone charging point at the end of the end of my room.
You're the only one who would have asked for it,
Correct.
I guess.
Right? And I said, I don't want a dressing table, bedside table, because I know then the phone will land up there. So what you have to do is you have to slowly change your environment for that. So I charge it away from me. It is permanently on do not disturb. The only people I need to worry about are my parents, they're next door. So I have nothing to fear in that sense. So that's how I dealt with the phone addiction. There are two places where I can use my phone. One is on my desk where I would possibly be working, and another part of the house. So that is how you start creating these rules. I even went to the extent of putting up a board on my toilet that said no phones allowed. So every time you enter, you're like, acha, no phones allowed, keep it outside. Okay. You have to combat this in whichever way you can.
Because it's really a serious epidemic and it's serious problem. And if we do not work on it consciously, it's going to be a huge problem. Like, because you're forever compared, right? Everything you see is making you feel lack. And it triggers a set of emotions in you. And again, you're going to do more of it. And it's down spiral.
And where are your moments of silence?
Yes.
See, silence is where, little spiritual is where God touches you. You cannot have a conversation with the universe, with the divine when you're scrolling through somebody's holiday pictures. Unless you're saying, God, give me this. But then that doesn't work that way. You need the silence for your ideas to come. You need the silence for your creativity to come. You need the silence for your processing to happen. Silence is important.
Okay, Ashdin, tell me about this. Okay. A lot of people say waking up early at 5 a.m., going to bed early is the best way to live. What's your take on it?
So your sleep cycle is very, very important. You start feeling sleepy at 8 o'clock in the evening. If you notice your first little thing is at 8 o'clock, then every 90 minutes is when your next cycle of melatonin, which is your sleep hormone, gets released. So typically you want to catch it by about say 10:30, 11 and sleep at that point of time. That for our kind of lifestyle is fine. When do you wake up? This is key. You know, we keep talking about high performers, wake up at 4 a.m., etc., etc., you know, join this club, join that club, etc. And I have a really funny story about this. I was with one of my clients, big CEO of a huge company. And He was like, Ashdin, tomorrow I'm going to wake up at 4. And I was like, why do you want to do this? I've read that if you wake up at 4, you are the king. Everything happens. I was like, I don't approve of this habit. You do what you want. I normally wake up at 5 o'clock. So at 5 o'clock, I wake up and I see on my phone a WhatsApp from him saying that I woke up at 4. Don't know what to do with myself, going back to sleep. The biggest problem is that we follow these trends without actually filling up that time. So wake up at 4 by all means if you have something to wake up for. If you don't have anything to wake up for, don't. I have something to wake up for at 5. 5 to 7 is when I get my most peaceful time to work. So I finish all my work between those 2-3 hours. That is for me the key part of my day. So that is why I wake up early. You need to wake up early only if you have a reason for it. And what I tell people is, don't suddenly set your alarm 1 hour, 1.5 hours earlier. Waking up at 8, now don't suddenly start waking up at 6. Do it in half an hour increments and every week increase it by half an hour. So 8 o'clock becomes 7:30, the next week becomes 7 o'clock, the next week after that becomes 6:30.
Don't go from 8 to 5 because it's not going to work.
Not going to work.
It's the same formula we say, small changes.
Small changes, too dramatic.
Consistently. Then you extend it.
Correct.
Okay. So that's your take on 5 a.m. Now tell me this. There's some people also talk about a morning ritual. Like Savers is very famous. Silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise. You know that Savers thing, right? What's your take? Should everyone have a morning ritual?
Your morning sets up the rest of your day. So your morning routine is extremely important. And if it turns into ritual, even better. So how do I define these? So habits are the individual actions. You group a bunch of habits together, they become a routine. A routine plus an emotion becomes a ritual. So that emotional component for a ritual is very, very critical. The emotion is what's going to hold you. Now, what is an emotion for most people's morning? Don't talk to me till I have my coffee. Right? If I've not had my chai, it's going to be a horrible day. You suddenly realize those are the rituals we've created. Can we create better rituals for ourselves? And what you rightly said is important. Visualizations, fantastic. There are different formats of these set routines that they have. But typically it would involve decluttering your mind, coming up with something that you want. So remembrance of who you are and who you want to be. Something that takes immediate action on it. So for example, either Tabata walk or something, immediate action on that. Any of these three or together.
The silence, either visualization, exercise for sure.
Correct.
Some reading, some journaling, a combination of this which works for you.
Yes.
So what you're saying is small habits put together becomes a routine. And when you add an emotion to it,
Correct.
then it becomes a ritual. And the idea is to make it a ritual because then it happens every single day.
Correct.
And you love doing it.
Rituals are the hardest to change. Habits are the easiest to change.
Okay.
Which is why I'm a habit coach and not a ritual coach. Correct. Habits I can help you change. Rituals take a lot of effort because I have to first work on that emotion before I can work on anything else.
Okay. Now tell me this, Ashdin. Everybody watching here wants to become a high performer. Okay. You've seen dissected people who are high performers, right?
Yes.
In the habit angle, if I want to become a high performer, somebody saying that, how would they do it? Just give me the difference.
So the difference between high performers and non-high performers is a very simple thing, which is mindset. Now, I know it sounds very simple to say mindset and like it's a standard answer, but that is the truth. Everyone can put in the same amount of effort. Everyone can probably get the same nutritionist, get the same, talk about athletes. But what separates them is how they, for example, deal with failure. How they deal with criticism, how they deal with people talking behind their back, how they deal with their past traumas. Those are the things that I have noticed make the biggest difference between people who've reached the pinnacle and the top versus people who are trying to. I've on the flight here, I was watching a Formula One show on Netflix because Formula One is starting. It's called, I forget what it's called, something.
Drive to Survive.
Drive to Survive.
I just finished 4 episodes, so I know what you're talking about.
And you hear every single driver is only talking about mindset.
Correct.
They are not talking about the time they spent in the simulator. They're not talking about the time they spend at the gym. They're only saying, I have to change my mindset. I have to work on my mindset. What is the difference between Lewis Hamilton versus somebody else is that his mindset for winning was very, very different from somebody else. The mindset of a champion is what we talk about. How do we cultivate this? We cultivate this with awareness. The second one is by being honest with ourselves. Most of us are not honest with ourselves. We are too scared to look at ourselves in the mirror. as soon as you lay yourself bare, saying, this is me, I am Nangu Pangu, everything what I see is the truth, only then you start making changes.
Because you need to be 100% truthful to yourself, right?
100% truthful.
Yeah. So best ways to journal, how would you say? Is there any way to do it?
Journal is one. Also looking at yourself in the mirror and just
You're saying
staring.
physically look at yourself in the mirror.
Also,
Okay.
having a conversation, do you recognize the person in the mirror? I remember when I was changing, I didn't recognize the person in the mirror. And I was like, I don't know who this person is. This is not me. Where is the kindness in this person's eyes? Where is it gone? Where is it disappeared? Where's the innocence? Can I bring it back? I was not who I thought I was. And when I started working on myself in those areas, I realized that other parts of my life started changing. Relationships started changing, right? High performers are not just mind focused on one part of their life. They also have to have the other parts of their life optimal for that one thing that they're working towards. You know, we only think that we have to throw ourselves into work. But the one thing that matters the most is who you have at home that you come to. If that is not good, there's no way that the work is going to be satisfactory. So you have to work on all these things around.
I agree, Ashdin. Holistically, if you don't grow, it doesn't work. And I'm a strong advocate saying that you can have a great career, you can have a great relationship, you can be spiritual. It's a and life. It's not a or life. It's a and life. And every area you can excel.
Yes.
If you're open to learning, if you're willing to work on yourself, right? I'm a big advocate of that. What do you
And
say?
simplifying your life.
Yes, simplify it.
Simplifying it. We were adding so much. You know, I was telling you that we're in the process of shutting down one of our businesses. We are cleaning up an office that we've been in for 25 years. And we are finding things from 25 years. And we're like, my God, how much have we accumulated? Now imagine what we have accumulated over 42 years in our life. Can we simplify and start let go?
Yeah. And what you accumulated in your head over your life, right? You need to really, really simplify it. And what people don't realize is every area of your life affects every area of your life. If your relationship is not working, it's going to affect your career and your health. No two ways to it. Everything is connected. So you need to look at it holistically. And I really agree with you. It's mindset. Formula 1.
Correct.
The top performers in the world are in Formula 1. The pressure is so high. And the one thing they focus on is actually mindset. What you said is really bang on.
You know, Suren, I was thinking about this. I was like, in Formula 1, there is a win or loss. It's very clear.
Yeah.
You know, there is no gray. I was like, in coaching, how can we do this? Like, even I want like something to go after. You know, that emotion that comes from that. We have to figure out something that we can do. Like,
yeah, because Formula 1 is so pressure. And it's amazing example you gave. Now we spoke about this. Can you talk about discipline? How much is discipline important in everything? You spoke about focus. You spoke about small changes. How the whole psychology and science, how to really create a habit. How much is discipline important?
I think a disciplined mindset and a student mindset are something that we have to have together, right? Student is always learning, and a discipline comes from the word disciple. So discipline is also about constantly learning. What does that mean? It means that it is about repetition. Showing up when you don't want to because the system has made you show up. I think that is the key part of discipline. You know, which
means doing what needs to be done, whether you like it or not.
Yes.
That's
it is not a mood-based thing. I think as soon as we say, I did not feel like doing this today, discipline has been lost. You do it whether you feel like it or not. So having that morning routine, you know, like that ashram life. Why are so many people drawn to that monk life? The monk life is all about taking away your choice. You have to wake up at this time. You have to go for that cold bath. You have to do this. There's no choice. Can we slowly start creating a life like that where most of the things are taken care of so you can focus on the parts that actually matter? For me, when I was doing the podcast, Habit Coach podcast, I had a very clear goal. I have to be #1 self-help podcast in the country, whatever in the world. So we were in the top 10 in the world and we were #1 in India. Every day I sat down and I worked on that podcast at 6 a.m. 750 words were written for that podcast. It was almost like, where was Ashdin at 6 a.m? Writing his podcast. Anyone could tell you. Whether I was traveling or not. It was that manic focus And I became so good at the kind of content that I was putting out there, the way that I could tell stories, only because of this.
So it's a very key ingredient if you really, really want to master your life, right? Let's talk of life mastery. I think I want you to really break it down. Someone watching this wants to master their life. What should they do?
A master knows things that a student has not yet fathomed. Right now, I'm very, very charged up by this idea of mastery. Okay, there's a lot of this Japanese culture that I'm looking at where people are just thinking about how do I perfect this 0.5% of this particular thing. And a year ago, I was giving a talk to this large corporate, and I was saying, what would mastery be like for a public speaker? Right? At the first level, when you start off as a disciple, you are like scared of going up on stage. Then what you do is you say, okay, I'm going to perfect my presentation. So you work on the storyline, you work on the points you want to make. Your presentation becomes your armor that you wear. Then slowly you realize that it is about the presentation and the story and the person sitting in the audience. So now you start looking at the first row. Earlier on, you're looking at the ceiling, trying to look here, trying to look there. Now you look at the first row. Then you look at the second, third. Slowly, you start realizing body language. Body language. This person's listening, that person looking at their phone, this person's doing this. So what you're looking at as mastery increases, that your consciousness and your ability to absorb that information increases. Then you say, all right, what is the thought that I want to leave these people with? What is the emotion that I want them to feel in this moment while they're with me? Then slowly mastery becomes, what is the feeling that I want them to take home with them? When they go home and talk to their children about it, spouses about it, what will they say about my talk? What will the people who are not in the room think about my talk? How can I have something for them? So what you're doing is you're constantly increasing the level of consciousness in that particular skill that you're trying to create. And
so
for me, that is
expanding
mastery.
your consciousness so that the impact also increases. And it's a very conscious step-by-step incremental growth you're looking at.
Because you didn't, so when you started by thinking of the presentation, you never thought about the person who's not in the room, right? You never thought about the person who actually said, yes, I want to go ahead with Ashdin instead of this person. How am I going to make that person feel in his boss's eyes? All those little thoughts, the person who is at the initial stage has not even comprehended or thought about. But the master has acknowledged and accepted and done something through the entire process. So I'm saying that mastery is when you've done something so much that you can see things that others can't currently see. When we look at a painting by a master, and this is something that I learned when I was doing my creative path that I was thinking about. I was like, everyone can draw an apple, but what was it about this apple that was different? This person could see something that nobody else could see in that apple. There's an emotion in that apple. It wasn't just a picture. And that's the difference between a picture of something and a painting or something. There's an emotion in it. And that's where mastery comes in.
Amazing, Ashdin. I'm telling you, the intention we started this podcast only two things. One, we want people to get the science of a habit and figure out how they can replace habits which don't serve them, and also cultivate new things which can work for them. I think we gave a lot of food for thought. The takeaway is brilliant. I've learned a lot from this. A big thank you for that. We have a couple of rituals here.
All right, lovely.
First ritual is 3 to 1.
Okay.
You have no idea what is 3, what is 2, what is 1 coming. Are you ready for it?
Done, let's go.
Okay. 3 habits of yours which work for you.
Journaling, for sure. Gratitude. When I'm feeling extremely low, I write down 100 things I'm grateful for. Otherwise, normally there's 3 things that I'm grateful for. And the one thing that really makes a difference is spending time with my loved ones.
Okay.
So I make it a habit to sit in the mornings. Even though my dad will irritate me, I'll make a coffee for him and I'll sit with him and I'll have a conversation with him. Do the same thing with my parents. Those 2 things, I think they ground you and they really help you.
Amazing. 2 traits of you which really has helped you reach where you are right now.
The first one is the ability to take complex ideas and break them down into something simple. Chunking things down is, I think, is a very critical part. And the second is to start seeing big pictures. You have to start looking at something much larger, because very often we get so stuck by the small little things, we don't see the big picture, and the big picture is where the masti is.
Amazing. If there's only one person you are thankful for, grateful for impacting in your life, who's that one person?
No, that's a cheating answer. This is a cheating question. There can't be one person that you're grateful for. Actually, in a strange way, I think one person who tortured me the most, who was probably the one who broke me down and started all of this journey, is always a part of my gratitude list. It was the most painful experience at that point of time, but it created everything after that. It could be that one person was the most traumatic, but otherwise it's a cheating thing because there are so many gurus in your life. Yeah, there's so many people that you learn from.
Yeah, okay, so you're not going to say that answer. Okay, great. Okay, what's your final greater than message for people watching this?
I always end by saying that your awesome life starts with the habits that you choose to create today. Whatever you have right now with your life is what your previous life's habits were. If you make a choice saying from today onwards, my habits are going to be these, your awesome life is bound to happen.
And everyone deserves an awesome life.
Absolutely.
Everyone deserves
Otherwise,
it.
what's the point?
Exactly.
Like some people say that, does everyone need to be happy? I was like, what option do you have?
Okay.
Why would you not want to be? Why wouldn't you want to have an awesome life? In the same way.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. One you deflected. Tell me one musty thing you do which you've never shared in public till now. You have to tell this at least. You can't escape.
One musty thing I do is the first thing I do every morning is I WhatsApp all my friends. Okay. Something hilarious, something mischievous, because I wake up at 5, right? So they're seeing this as soon as they wake up. This is something that I do. All my friends who are my close circle know this one thing.
So you're the one friend, the WhatsApp gang who sends this hilarious
Not in the
thing.
WhatsApp gang, not in the group.
Not in the group. It's
Not
one
in
to
the
one.
group. One to one, this person, and curated.
Oh.
So it's not a mass message. Curate, this person will get this person will get this person will get this.
Thank you, Ashdin. I really, really loved this conversation. It was inspiring. It was food for thought. Thank you so much for being in Greater Than Podcast.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you for staying till the end. This podcast is about helping you shift perspectives, push your limits, and take steps that actually move you forward. Just remember that you're greater than anything life throws at you. I am Surendran Jaishekhar signing off. Love yourself. Don't take life too seriously. Live a life of meaning and purpose.